We try to leverage the existing organization that you have within your school. And so we get this information from your student information system automatically with our integration. Essentially, you have a main campus account. You might have some different colleges like the engineering college and the business college, and then separate departments underneath these. In our terminology, this is called a sub-account, and we just recreate the organization that you already have, and then we leverage this for learning outcomes. So how this happens is that you can create a learning outcome at any level of this hierarchy, including at the course level as well. So for instance, if I created a learning outcome that I've named number 3 here in the engineering school, this learning outcome will now propagate and be available for alignment in all the sub-departments and any of the courses underneath it. Likewise, in the business school, if I create a learning outcome, it'll automatically propagate. If I want to have a learning outcome that I'm going to align across departments or different schools, just go up one more level and create a learning outcome, and it will apply to all the different courses across campus. I'm in my account administration, and I can see my learning outcomes, and I have an outcome group where I've organized all the different learning outcomes that I am using for the Bachelor of Business program. So for each of these learning outcomes, I can give it a quick name. I can come out with the different details of it that expresses this is the learning objective, that after a student has gone through our material or through our program, that they're going to have this characteristic or they'll have acquired this skill. This is the outcome that is desired for the student to have. And I can review this, but I can also edit these and create these different learning outcomes. We use our rich content editor, so you can give a good description of, if you're looking at a student artifact, how should I assess this? We also set up a specific assessment framework. You can add different ratings here as fine-grained level of learning outcomes as you would like. The points here can be used for scoring or not. This is where you set up your custom scale. So for example, with this exceeds expectations, when we give you the raw data back, we will actually say that they were assessed as a 2, so you can interpret and create your own custom scales for your own analysis. Now with learning outcomes, you still want to know if they've achieved mastery or not. This is why we use our threshold, so you can still have the fine-grained level of criteria and assessment, but then still have the coarse-grained level if they're competent or not. And here, according to the scale that I've created, that if they have a 1 or above, then I'm telling the system that it should be considered as mastery or competency according to this certain learning outcome, and below it is not. To do alignment of learning outcomes in Instructure Canvas, we use our Rubric tool. When I'm creating a rubric, I can create different criteria that would apply to just this assignment only. I can also click this link for finding outcome criteria, which will show me all of the different learning outcomes that have propagated down the organizational hierarchy that I explained earlier into this course. I can easily see what the learning outcome is, its description, its customized grading scale or assessment scale, and I can choose whether or not I want to use this for scoring. So if I uncheck this and I add this outcome, it now adds it directly into my rubric. Now that's going to align this specific learning outcome with all the content as part of this assignment and all future student submissions as part of it as well. You can see here, since I'm not using it for scoring, it doesn't update the total points possible for this assignment. So I can just do assessment to the student as well. With the Rubric tool, I can align this specific assignment or activity with multiple learning outcomes as well, if I'm using it for both. And we just mark each specific row or criteria with this little sun icon to show that this is aligned with a learning outcome. Now I'd like to show you how to do the assessment from a teacher perspective using these learning outcomes. In our speed grader, we give the assignment, and when I edit the rubric, I can see that I just have another row for these learning outcomes. I just use it just normally like I do my normal rubric, and this will automatically tabulate and record that I've assessed this student using this specific criteria and what they achieved in their assessment automatically and into those reports. There's a little dialog box right here where I can give additional feedback in addition to the rubric as well on each learning outcome. The idea here is that we shouldn't have to go to a separate system in order to track learning outcomes and the objectives of our university or institution. The idea here is that we've incorporated the best uses of learning outcomes into the actual assessment when the teacher is doing it. So it doesn't create any additional work for the teacher to contribute to learning outcomes for their own pedagogical purposes or for the accreditation for the entire institution. For every outcome that you create, we have a live updating report that shows all of the artifacts that have been assessed recently across the entire system using this specific outcome. I can see Laura has been assessed and that she achieved mastery on this in the business course. I can also see Jin Lee in the accounting course using the same learning outcome aligned across courses, and he also achieved mastery according to my own criteria. If I click on the specific artifact, I'm actually presented with this specific and exact artifact that the student turned in. I can see the conversation that the student has been having with the teacher about this specific artifact in this learning activity. If I click on the rubric, I can see exactly how they were assessed from either the teacher or the other assessor. This little sun icon shows that this criteria is aligned with the learning outcome, because you can have also assignment level criteria as well. You'll see a drop-down list here is because a student work can be assessed by multiple people. A good case of this is where a student is assessed by their peers in a peer review. You can also have someone outside of the teacher do these other assessments, and so you can see each way that they have been assessed using this criteria with learning outcomes. If I click on the student now, I can see all the different outcomes that have been aligned with any of the work that the student has inside of their courses, and whether or not the student is achieving competency according to my own learning outcomes that I have set up in my framework. So I can see that they've achieved competency on their last submission according to this outcome across all of their courses. Of course, all of the data with learning outcomes is available in a raw form, so you can do your own analysis in addition to all the built-in reports that we also provide.